Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is Podcast. I'm excited to welcome the host of the Love Is Podcast, Kim Sorrell. Kim, how are you? And we have a bunch of people here today to talk about another great show, right, Kim?
We do. We've got a great group with a great show. Welcome, you guys. Reilly, Keller, Julia. I love County Rescue. I love you guys. You're all so accomplished. Some of you started acting when you were, babies practically. Some of you have dogs. You like to run, you like to box. There's so much about you guys. I wish we had longer, but we want to talk about County Rescue. And it is such a great show. Julia, I'd love to start out with you. Tell me about what it's like to play Danny. How are you liking that part?
Oh, it's been so much fun. I'm super excited for the show to come out. It was one of those roles where, I try to do auditions and forget and move on, but I just had so many similarities to the character and felt so connected to the material that by the end of it, it was a harder role to let go of. And so I was extremely grateful when I got the call that I would have the opportunity to play Danny. So I can't wait for people to see it.
Absolutely. And what about you, Reilly? The opportunity that you had?
I mean, honestly, the opportunity was great for me because actually, in the middle of auditioning with this, Julie and I actually are like, we're best friends in real life. We had worked at the same acting studio for a year,
Oh,
taping
wow.
auditions with each other. So, I mean, I didn't really know if I was going to get this. I related to some aspects of Tim, but being able to go through it with my best friend and like make it through this together was honestly like the most reassuring thing that I had in this entire process. And it was one of the best summers of my life for sure.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that you guys are best friends. I don't know what that does for you, Keller, but if you want to tell us what it's like for you to have the role, that'd be great.
Sure, I definitely can't one up their best friendship, but Julie and I have worked together twice before. Um, Very short one day gigs on other projects, but so I actually had to FaceTime in for the chemistry read to see if who's going to get the final pass on who's getting the part. And the first person that came in was Julia, and we were like, "Yo, no way!" And then once I was told that I got the part of Griffin, my first question was, "Did Julia get Danny?" And they said yes. And then I was like, "All right, well, let's see about this Reilly guy. I hope he's cool."
No, honestly,
Wow.
like
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was such
So,
a it was a breath of fresh air because I was like, I have to hate Griffin, but then he made him so likable, and Keller's such a likable dude that it made it really hard. So,
so let's talk about the characters. Julia, tell us about your character, who you play and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I play Danny Miller. I'm a young woman in my 20s trying to figure out what I want to be doing in life, what my calling is. So I'm on this journey to discover my purpose and look internally at my faith. And yeah, we're all competing for one spot at the EMT station. There's a lot of internal struggle for me there, and then externally with the other people I meet. But she also gets to experience a lot of new, amazing relationships with people who really love and support her.
Yeah, it is such a great role, and we'll get to the other roles, but Danny is such a great role. I love the character of Danny, and there's also some family issues. And it's like in the first episode, the episode that they gave me to watch, which I'm so grateful for, there were so many things that were hit on in one episode, and family was a big one. And does that hit home at all? Do you have family issues? Is your family fantastic? And so you have to really act for that, or how does that work?
I am so blessed. I have the most wonderful parents and brother and family. So that definitely did require some acting. So I have an amazing support system. I'm so grateful. But doing the family scenes, those were the first couple days of our shoot. We kind of knocked them all out, and just phenomenal actors. So I'm so excited to see it come out.
When we'll talk about your role, Riley, but thinking about EMTs and how they're forgotten in so many ways, it's got to be great to play in this type of a role. I'm sure all of you would agree that EMTs are not given the respect they deserve for how hard they work and for the little pay that they get sometimes. Right, Riley?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, kind of to bounce off of that, where we find Tim at the start of the show is, he really needs to get this job because his mom is sick and he wants to be able to provide and take care of her. So, when I was keeping that in mind, like when we were doing a bunch of the EMT sequences and even just some of the dynamic character interactions and stuff like that, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, my respect for EMTs just kind of shot through the roof because we're going and sitting in these serious moments, and then at a moment's notice, he's got to be out the door to go help somebody and save someone. And the conditions, at least for us, like the heat of the summer, filming in Nashville at the EMT unit, and then just having to sleep there sometimes. Like you never know really when you get to go home and have your own life. Like it's a lot of sacrifice and it's a lot to give up to be able to help all these people, and it's such a selfless act. And for me to even just, I've said it, but like even just to know a drop in the ocean of what that's like is a very profound experience, and I'm super grateful for all of it.
Yeah, gosh, I would imagine that to be true. And your character, I love your character. And you've got so much going on because you've got your mom and you're fighting so hard for this one opening, right? And and you do such a great job of it. And there's something incredible though about the attitude that you show. I mean, it's so evident in your character that's where your mind is. That's what you're thinking about is you're saving people during the day or whenever, and then you go home and you're taking care of your mom and you're making sure things happen. That's really cool. So Keller, I don't know where that puts you because Danny, poor, Tim's got his mom and Danny's got all kinds of issues, poor thing. And then are you just the pretty face, Keller, or what is it?
It seems that way when Griffin gets there. It seems like he just kind of flies in there, not really thinking much of anything, and he's got his dad, who's the fire chief, so he's got one shoe in, and he's best friends with our captain there, Scotty, and so he thinks he's just got it made, and we come to find out that he doesn't, and as we find out in the show as well, like Reilly was touching on before, these EMTs, they have to know everything medically, the knowledge in their brain so full of all this medical stuff, but they have to live there and they have to deal with these relationships inside of the EMT station and their own lives outside of it. And so Griffin comes in with a smile, and we find out that he's a little bit deeper than that, and he's got some internal struggles as well.
Wow. And there you go. All three of you in this battle. And we have to tune in, right, Julia, to find out who ends up winning out on this.
You do, yes. Gotta tune in. Stay to the end for the answer.
You know, something that I love about this show too is there's been some great medical shows, right? Grey's Anatomy, Marcus Welby, MD, which is way before your time, but from the beginning, all these different medical shows that people love, and now to have, I believe it's the first Christian series that is medical. I mean, you guys are breaking ground, and how is it different, do you think, with the Christian slant compared to the other shows?
Sure. I mean, first of all, I feel very privileged and proud to be a part of not only the first original series on Great American Family, but a show with such great core values that anyone in the family can watch. And we're just getting positive messages out there, and it's uplifting content. So, sometimes you watch shows and you can feel a little drained by the material you consume. And of course, we tackle heavier subjects in this show as well, but there's a lightness to this show that is very refreshing.
Yep. And that's the thing, for sure. And I'm sure getting to work on working together, Reilly, really built those friendships. You already had the friendship with Julia, but I'm sure now you have a good relationship with Keller and other people on the set, right? And that's what's so nice about specific shows where you become a family, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like we all have a group chat that we still text in all the time, keeping each other posted on like what we're doing. Um, you know, even inside jokes. I went to see Angel actually. I visited him for a little bit and we were like texting an inside joke we had with like Brett. It's a huge collective family. And I mean, honestly, it's probably the nicest set of cast and crew that I've ever had the privilege of being a part of. Like, usually you get to a set and you always kind of feel uneasy because you don't know how people are going to rub off on one another, but everyone was just amazing to work with and really, really kind.
That's so cool to hear. You know, that I believe too comes out in the show. Like whoever the casting director was did an outstanding job because each character is its own character, you know, and does their own thing and is so individual. That is so cool. But the way everybody works together and gels together, it just looks like it's for real. Like, you know, some shows do a good job of that. This show seems to do an excellent job of that. Keller, how do you feel about that, working with everybody?
I actually feel the same way. I was actually just talking with our director Brian this morning, and he sent me the pilot, and I got to watch it with my family. Speaking about it being, you know, family friendly, and I haven't done too many family friendly projects, and so to be able to sit down and watch it with my family and see them all just locked into the screen, fully pulled in just as much as any dramatic thing on TV that's, you know, not faith-based, but then to have that element there, it was amazing. And then going back to the team we had together, you know, we all, when we weren't on set shooting a scene, we would all be hanging out in our wardrobe room, and we just got so close. You know, Reilly and Julia would be out there shooting a scene, and I would be in there with the rest of the cast, and then they would come in and we would go shoot a scene, and it was just like that all day, every day for, you know, weeks and weeks. And so you get really close, and it was so, we were so blessed to have been with this cast that we all got along with, and the crew and everybody who worked on the show. It was incredible.
All right, awesome. Tune in to Great American Pure Flix to County Rescue. Appreciate it, guys, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Awesome.
having
Thank you.
us.
You're welcome. All right, that was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.